taught a long time ago in presenting. I went through some different wholesaler presentation training, and it's called fusion training. A lot of, you've been through fusion. I saw you working your 3 points in the crowd, always tell a joke, engage them, control and engage with eye contact here and there. So I went through all this fancy training on how to give a presentation earlier on in my career, and then I've decided over the last 8 years just to throw that crap right out the window. I wander, I yell, I get animated, we talk about it, it's all about engaging your people. But what I've taken from this morning, so each and every one of you, I've seen a lot of people taking notes, and when you come into, you think about advisory group, you don't think about dental and vision, etc. What was your takeaway from the dental and vision presentation? Oh man, mine was the candy, right? The candy. First it was,
party in the mouth.
If no one remembered that song she was referencing, it's all about that face. Is that all about that bass, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I mean, some of us actually were alive and listened to that when it was on the radio. So there were some good references, but she had a great analogy in regards to Reese's. That analogy she had in regards to Reese's has to do with story selling. How many people have ever read the book Story Selling? Would you believe that your clients, your potential prospects, your potential recruits are more visual beings than they ever are technical beings? Yeah. Is that a fair statement? They don't want you to wow them with spreadsheets of facts and costs and you name it, but it all comes down to, can you paint that picture? Yesterday I had to go through an exercise. We're going to do, I always start out with a refresh and recap of what we did the day before. So yesterday we went through an exercise, it was the marketing circle. What were the steps in that marketing circle?
Smiley face.
Smiley face. Who is that? That's you. What's the first thing you have to identify?
What do you
What
do?
it is that you do. What's the second thing that you have to identify?
What do you do with it?
Who can benefit from it? What's your profile? Then we got to figure out where to gather those names. So on that name gathering side yesterday, we didn't expand into where those prospects come from, but I heard the reference earlier. Travis, you got it, man. Listen to your mentorship, what you're doing. Mentorship is marketing. It's not about using the mentorship role to get more personal clients for you. It's about surrounding yourself with young and aspiring new advisors that are going to take you into the field by the hand because they're prospecting like banshees, and just out of circumstance, they're going to drag you along into prospecting with them. So mentorship is marketing. If you care about that person that you're mentoring, your activity just by osmosis will go up as well. We're going to uncover cases, opportunities. 401k prospects are ideal for team selling. So I've heard a lot about team in the last 2 days. 401k prospecting is team selling 101. That Friday morning, 8 to 10 people. We talked marketing yesterday. Here's another refresher from yesterday. What type of activity are we using in our agency for 401k prospecting? Activity levels. 100 well-defined profile names in 401k space. Every Friday morning, 8 to 10 direct attempts to research names. What are you doing from 7 to 8 in the morning on Fridays?
Researching the internet for the day.
Researching your 8 to 10, so you know everything about that company. You know when they were founded, when grandpa retired, how many employees they have, how many locations, what type of benefit packages do they make available. What kind of a conversation can you have with those folks? And you're making 8 to 10 prospecting attempts. If you're doing team selling, does that sound like great activity for a Friday if you're a mentor with your mentee? Grab that person by the hand, get their butts out into the field, go knock on that business owner's door, and let's talk about retirement planning. That's a great Friday morning. That's team building. So then we take a look at, technology is great when it all works, right? So, what were the 3 reasons why an employer would entertain moving their retirement plan from yesterday?
Service, performance, and cost.
Service, performance, and cost. Everyone's reminded it. He's on it.
Yes. That's
on it. But if you've got that pitch, when you get on the phone with an individual in a first meeting, prospecting attempt, Mr. or Mrs. Employer, I've found through my working with my clientele that people will only make a decision to move their retirement plan for one of or a combination of those 3 facts. Service. If service is exceptional, performance can be pushed, and cost is usually never an issue. If service is marginal, performance becomes an issue, and then definitely cost comes into play. If you take anything from the language conversation that we had yesterday, it's that door opener. People make a decision to move on 3. Square them up. Sometimes you're going to win a plan where you're more expensive. I heard a story last night that someone here locally moved a nice $7-8 million plan, and they were actually more expensive. That's relationship-based sales 101. If you sell on price, you lose on price. I heard someone reference earlier, I think Travis mentioned, I got a text last night in regards to a bright scope of a plan, and this isn't a good plan. Well, that's good research, empirical data, but that's not what you're going to make that phone call on. I don't want you to make any phone calls into that plan based on fees on the 5,500, bright scope information in regards to how the plan dynamics are. That's good for the back of your mind, but you don't want to go into that date a little bit too loaded. You want to make sure you're fact-finding and developing what's important to that client. So even if on paper the plan's too expensive, but they love that advisor, or they've got their other group benefits, or it's a group out of Madison or wherever it might be that's doing their PNC, their workers' comp, their group insurance, you name it. We got to go in, we got to make sure and develop that case upon why they would entertain making a move. So, from the dental side of it, what we're doing in our agency right now is we've brought in a specialist specific to group benefit services. And I'm in Omaha, so I'm very familiar with Emeritus right down the street, so we have an opportunity to work together. But we've hired a group insurance specialist that we feel fundamentally, if we're working towards meeting the needs of our prospects and our clients inside of our retirement plans, that we have separated group insurance from health insurance. Group insurance in the past has been an afterthought product to the health insurance process. How many people in here have sold group health insurance in the past? The folks have been around Muge for a while. What do you got to do every year on a group health plan? Reprice it, rebid it. What happens if that employer gets a 40% rate increase? How's that meeting?
Not very good.
See ya.
Not very pleasant. Group insurance, you're going in there on health insurance and you're fighting the fight based on premiums. And we've identified that less than 15% of all participants inside of a 401k have an individual standalone financial advisor. Where do you think most people in America, quote unquote, own their life insurance?
Work.
Through their workplace. And we've tied that, traditional school of thought has tied that only protection tool that family rents, not owns, to a health insurance plan that it can have a 40-50% rate increase every year. So what we've done is different. Today's topic is we're going to talk about cross-selling. So how are we getting 5, 6, 7 additional dollars out of every retirement plan? How do we answer the marketing question, the solution to your long-term client acquisition needs? How do we protect, save, and grow for a 401k participant? We prospect group life and disability insurance, the ancillary services that come along with that. We pair that with our 401k block. Because if I'm willing to help that family save, I need to help them be able to protect. If I can have that conversation together, saving and protection at the time of 401k enrollment, how much ancillary life insurance coverage do you think you could sell within that plan? Typical group plan is what, 2-3 times income? Is that enough? I own $4.3 million worth of life insurance. How many people in here own at least $1 million in face? How many people at least $2 million in face? How many people above? There's a few. Why? I am 36 years old. I have 3 kids, the age 3 and under. I would like to say I do fairly well for myself, but that bucket, retirement planning, all it is this. Story selling once again. When I sit in front of a client or a prospect, you have to envision that your retirement account is a machine. That machine is in your garage. It's a special machine. It's a machine that when you buy it has an empty gas tank, but when it's full, when you reach that magical age of retirement, that machine is going to be turned on. And that machine is going to print $10,000 bills every month. If you, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, had that machine in your garage, let me ask you a question. Would you change the oil in that machine? Would you put gas in the tank? If you had a choice between two gas stations, one gas station was $4 a gallon. The gas station across the street, for every gallon you bought, they'd throw in a gallon. Which gas station would you fill your tank at? The one that gives you a free gallon of gas? Will that allow you to fill up that tank on your machine quicker? If you have that machine in your garage, would you lock the garage door? Feel free to interact. This is where most people are saying, yes, I would lock the garage door. Would you have a security system? An alarm system, a big dog? Would you sit out there in your underwear with a shotgun? I would. That's my machine. That prints my paychecks in the future. That's your retirement account. Your ability to earn an income is what fills the tank. So if I, as your retirement plan advisor, am astute enough, desiring enough to help you fill that tank for the future through where most people, as we've identified, don't have outside advisors, so they need to take advantage of that retirement asset. If I'm not there to help you protect it, then I haven't done my job as your benefits specialist. So why do I own so much life insurance? Because if I don't make it home, 6-hour drive tonight, I decide that I love Albert Lee so much, I'm going to drive my car into Albert Lee Lake on my way past. $4.3 million is an explosion of wealth that happens at exactly the right time when my clients, my family needs it. Because I have my retirement account, I have my non-qualified assets. If I'm dead and gone, Mutual's not going to just magically keep sending my paycheck to the family because I'm a good guy. So what that life insurance does is it takes that machine that sits in my garage and it fills the tank and a reserve tank, so Brady doesn't have to go back to work. The kids go to college wherever they want. I went to Creighton, but by then I don't know if I own enough life insurance to send them to Creighton in 18 years. So online, whatever. But life insurance, disability insurance, retirement planning go together. So if we're working in the retirement planning space, which we are, we have to set the table with our business owner clients based upon the service model that will set us free and set us apart from our competition, which is the knee-to-knee, eyeball to eyeball, face-to-face, personal planning interaction that happens. I don't care what the DOL says when it comes to advice. There's nothing that says I can't educate my clients. And my clients, prospective clients, can choose to do business with whoever the hell they want. You know where they flock to? The people that have ideas. So we talk about pairing group insurance with what's happening in the retirement plan. Maybe you can't get in the door with a business owner on Friday on 401k. Maybe you have to prospect them on their dental or their vision. Maybe you have to prospect on their group life insurance. Maybe you have to prospect on their buy-sell on a Tuesday. It's however you get to the table that you lay out your service model. When I'm meeting with folks, what I've added to my presentation today, everything you're going to see on the screen today is our advisor pitch book. It's customizable. It's put all the way through compliance. So this is through RPD. It's through compliance. John can disseminate that out to you. It's customizable to you and your team. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. This is what we do. If I'm a new advisor or I'm looking to enter into the 401k space and I'm looking to transition to cross-selling in the future, I need to set the table before I sell the plan. If I don't communicate to that employer or that owner that I am going to be working with your people on life, disability, and outside assets, then call reluctance will set in, and you will sit on that 401k plan, cash the check every month, be like every other financial advisor in the industry, just sitting on the assets, and you'll never go working. So you have to make the promise. The promise is kept guy.
Alex Sheen.
Alan Sheen. Promise is kept. You're making a promise at the point of first meeting to work with those individuals in the future when they move the plan to you. So can you keep that promise? This is what it looks like. First meeting, here's how I do it. Everything, you guys see me fidgeting around with these iPads. Technology is great and all that, but we've got these all up on iPads. So if I go out into an initial first meeting, save it to your machine, it's just an initial first pitch. Boom. I'm flipping them through this presentation. I customize it to the advisor, customize it to the company. So what are we looking for? Why would you work with Mutual of Omaha on their 401k side? Consulting from a dedicated local advisor. Why is that the first thing that we say? How many companies do you know that have their retirement plan direct to a fund company, direct to a sponsor, their 401k advisors in Philadelphia with Brinker? I love the Brinker guy, I love Morningstar guys, etc. But it kills me when they come in and their pitch is to bury the manager that they fired. It's easy to dance on the grave with the guy who couldn't perform, but it just is what it is. The thing didn't perform, move the money. It just is what it is. Don't apologize for it. But a dedicated local advisor. Your people need someone to work with individual. Retirement readiness for you and your employees, financial services to help your business, partnering with a dependable product. Who's Mutual of Omaha? I have an advantage. My office is literally, well, we're at 120th, the home office at 34th and Dodge, to do the math, we're 90 blocks from the shadow of the tower. People know who Mutual of Omaha is in Omaha. Come on. Just like people know who U.S. Bank is in Minneapolis, and they know who the Brewers used to be in Milwaukee. It's name recognition. That's for Derek. So, a little bit about who we are. All gears working together to support. So what's the service model? What's the platform of our plan? We work at Mutual of Omaha to strengthen community relationships and networking. That's what you're doing every day. Proximity and accessibility. We have to have local advisors because your participants should never have to call a 1-800 number. I heard Mr. Pieper talk yesterday that I don't want my people that ever call the 800 number. I heard you say 8 times that you have 4 phone lines. Right? Why? You don't want them to call the 800 number. If you don't have a local financial advisor working that 401k plan, guess who they have to call? The 800 number. Well, they got to go to the website. Do you want your people getting their advice from the website? No. It's available, but then the retirement and financial resources that your clients need happens from you. Who's your service team? And then within this, mine's all filled out. This is things that you can customize. People in the retirement plan space don't want to work with Joe Blow individual advisor. Language that I use at the point of sale, here we are. It's 10:30 on a Tuesday morning. I'm not picking stocks for you. I'm here figuring out what's important to you and your company. I've got a team of specialists that they're paid very well to be some of the best in the business at fund selection, screening and monitoring, onboarding, service, 5500 filing, payroll processing. Is that a little bit ignorant for me to ever make the claim that I'm an expert in all of those areas? Mr. and Mrs., you cater that to anyone you're talking to. Mr. and Mrs. Client, we're here talking about your family life insurance. I know a lot about estate plan, retirement plan, etc., but I'm not an expert. It's not my plan anyways, it's your plan. But we're going to find out what's important to you. I'm going to go back to my resource team, and then I come back to the table with a solution that fits your needs. So, customizable 401k service. This is all about, I heard yesterday we talked about service model, classifying clients A, B, C's, and D's, 17 touches for the A's, 12 for the B's, etc. But ultimately you need to ask that prospect what level of service they want to receive. This is not standard service model. Some employers want you on site every quarter, some want every month. That large plan we took on last year, they have 13 locations, 900 employees, $35 million in assets. My advisors that are on that team are on site at each location every month. They have 13 days of every 30-day month, minus weekends, dedicated to having an on-site presence at each of those locations. When I go into the cross-selling success that we've had, you'll find where that personal touches. When I say on-site presence, that's not show up with cookies and bagels and throw them in the back and say, whatever, hey, how do you do? That's a targeted marketing campaign. They are 30 days in advance working through the census of each location and the fact finders that were done at the initial time of enrollment to schedule individual, tangible, one-on-one meetings to review their entirety of their plan of protection.